Hey everyone, just getting things set. 7 p.m. right now. Bit of modern technology for you. Bit of modern technology. This is one of them. Oh boy. Anytime you feel food, hey you. I'm so frustrated. Inside fire. Alright, I gotta leave it like that. Now that's inside the fire. Do, 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 do. I'm going with that. And this is the one inside there. Can't have that. That's so interesting. They show you online how to set this stuff up. You follow it, but for some reason, I'm having some technical issues here. Although it looked good before. Let's see how this goes. Why is it under this picture? It doesn't look right. Do, 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 do. Well, it kind of does. It's kind of funny because I'll leave it like this. if you can find the right lighting. Yeah, that's right. We're going to proceed. Most important thing is the heart and the sign and the phone number. Looks good to me. All right, that's it. We'll continue. Hey everyone, we're going to start our meeting a couple minutes after 7 right now. And 7:06 p.m. August 30th, 2020. Beautiful day out today. So I'd like to start introducing myself. My name is Charles Richard Zarelli. Running for the President of the United States. And as you can see, I am the Declaration of Independence party that joins all parties. I had something happen yesterday that was kind of interesting that leads me to want to speak with all of you. And I believe what I have to say is relative to a national disposition. I can just see the lighting is not right. Forgive me if some things aren't correct, and I see a little flicker on the other side of the sign over there by my contractors. EPA certification, relative contractor sticker. I'd like to just tell you a little bit about myself first. My name is Charles Richard Zarelli. I'm a United States born and raised person. I'm a respectful person. I like to say that. I might not look like Brad Pitt, and I might not have his abs, and I'm rubbing my belly, might not have his abs. Although I probably could lift most of you on my shoulder and run down the street for a little bit. And so I'm not totally a schlep either. And even though I might not look like Brad Pitt and I might not have his abs, my heart and my mind are. And I am very confident of that. There's not what I'm about to say is true, probably for most people. And I don't want to say anything about people I know. I can't do that. Or any race or religion, and not my personal feeling. I'm not going to do that here. But any woman I've ever went steady with, I have never cheated on in my life. And my right hand is on my heart, and I'll do it both ways. And that is my word to God. And I'll raise my right hand and put my hand on my heart the other way, and my hand to God. Why is that important? Because maybe it was because sometimes your parents have fights when you're younger and you don't know what to think or you don't know what to do. How many of us are told by anyone who's a presidential candidate some of the life experiences in this way from the heart? I just hear them make up a bunch of stories, not really about them, although it is about them. I got married and I had children and all this. That's beautiful. And I'm not taking anything away from that. That's very beautiful. But as we can see, there's some stories that a lot of us behind the scenes and who are politically oriented have not been true to the very person they say they love. I've been the other way around. I've held back to represent myself more true, and I didn't want to overstep what it is that I represent. That's where I differ from anyone I've seen running. Now, there's a bunch of people I don't know about their personal lives, but they're out of the race already. So we're down to DJT, a couple of the people and other parties that we really don't hear about on the mass media. But the most important one I think you should know of is the Declaration of Independence Party. And why is that? Because the Declaration of Independence Party joins all parties. And I say these things directly relative because I'm a little taken back because I was on a radio program yesterday and I had someone call in and I felt her I still feel her now. And she was an older woman. She might have been Jamaican. Um, and she probably had to be in at least 70s, maybe 60s, not 60s. She had to be at least 70s or 80s. And when she called up, she had said, well, I don't know how you stand on immigration and, everyone else who said that they were going to do these things. And they lied, and all of them lied, and they've made so many promises and they've lied. Let me just say first, I'd like to define what I stand for. First, I'd like to take a little extension of the introduction, time to join.us. It's my website, our website. Um, my name is Charles Richard Zarelli, the Declaration of Independence Party. There's a phone number down on this side over here, 718-865-8720. Once again, I'll say these things in a little bit. And I'm going to do an abridged publication right now. I'm not going to take the time I normally do. I just want to come in and make my point, and I'm going to stop after that pretty much. What I represent, more than anything that no one seems to be talking about, is design and a true, real blueprint, not because I made it. And I'll be honest with you, because I'm standing here now, I'm kind of glad I wasn't one of the guys that did it, because as we see some of the things that were representative, is a little bit disheartening, because what bothers me is this: how much people of word have we been politically? I'm disgusted. I don't want to be considered political. And when I say the word God, it means, I'll be honest with you, because I went to a Catholic church for many, 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 many years. Barely ever missed Sunday. And then you get involved with some other things, and I still have a day of rest, and I still respect. But I also look at my center. A lot of people feel that this is relative to who we are, and some people don't believe in God. One of my very good friends doesn't believe in God. You can't force anybody what to do, but he's heartful to his wife. He's heartful to his children. He's personable. He's a cool person to hang out with. Doesn't mean because he doesn't believe in the word God, he's not of God. No way. And I don't think he knows it, but he don't have to know it. You know why? I feel what God has made is every combination that you can think of. Right now, as we speak, someone's born, someone's died, someone got corona, someone went to the hospital, someone got healed, someone had a baby, and so on and so on and so on and so on and so on. This is what I believe our creators have made. And when you read the Declaration of Independence, where does it use the word God? Only once. And I'll read a clip from that. Quote, from the beginning: when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve, that's all of us by the way, to dissolve the political bands which have connected them to one another, and to assume among the powers of our earth, I like to say our earth, the separate and equal stations to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions with an S of mankind requires that they, the government, our authorities, politicians, should declare the causes which impel them, the people, to the separation. How do we know we're separating? Because we don't have complete design. When we see the original Declaration of Independence, this is the original Declaration of Independence. The word united is in capital letters, but the word states is in capital letters. And then the version in 1776, which Ben Matlock was the drafter, he was a scribe, and he wasn't even an American citizen, really. But it's obvious his mentality I'm not happy about, because he shrunk the word united to make it teeny, teeny, little bit united. No, no, no. Let's go to the original one. What the originals? The original one, as you're reading it, said united. The version we're following today, united. Excuse me, can you speak up? Oh, yeah, we'll speak up. Ready? It's united. I don't think so. We can see our original founding fathers, the framers, had a good intention, but they failed us. Or did they? Were they a person of their word, or were they more political? I believe they knew they were being political because they wrote. It is the bands which have connected us that have political connections that need to be dissolved. And I think that's extremely important. So when this woman called up yesterday, she associated that I would lie to her. Now, how does our government have rules that help us lie? Let's talk about that for a second. Well, our lovely FCC, Federal Communications Commissions, has the law that you're not allowed technically to fact check a national candidate, whether they're truthful or not on average. So anyone who says something is because you're making a personal attack, but they could lie. But then you have people like factcheck.com and Truth, all this and all the rest of that, Truth, Facts Check, whatever the other one is. There's several of them. I want them to be in tune with Charles Richard Zarelli. My objective is to hold a 90% plus. 95 is really what makes me happy. Let's face it, everyone makes mistakes. Life is not perfect. And I'd like to be a candidate that when I say to you, if I promise to you, you can put your life on it. I will not promise to you unless I see every way, shape, and form that it can be fulfilled. Because when I was 14 and I broke a promise to a girlfriend at that time, I didn't feel right. I'm glad, even though my mom and dad, as I got older, got separated and divorced eventually. And I'm glad that my mother and father never spoke bad about each other, ever. And that made me see a solidarity in myself that even though I was wrecked as a little boy, and I have to say that honestly, because when you come from family, part of our IR, our internal representation, which out of my 14 licenses, I have a certification in hypnotherapy. And that certification in hypnotherapy, just dropped it, excuse me 1 second. That certification in hypnotherapy, as well as I'm a master of physics in several different degrees. And I have a couple of master licenses, 5 EPA certifications within. I was a licensed ham operator, my call sign KB2QDE. You can look me up and it's public record. I can build you an antenna out of your pen. I let it expire because cell phones came out. But I'm a unique person when it comes to that because a lot of people don't understand. Forgive me when I go here for a second, Ohm's law. And it just, in short, without me saying E equals I times R and explaining it, it shows that wattage has an ability to compile. And I don't know if most people probably don't know this, but it's said that when noise, you make a voice, it reverberates into the atmosphere and atmosphere and stratosphere into outer space, and it never stops. Can I prove that? Not me personally, but I've heard this through scientists, so I'm going by what they had said. It makes sense. It makes sense why they've made noise pollution laws. So in our IRs, in our RAS, so right here is IR, it stands for internal representation, RAS, reticulated activating system. It's all part of our mental framing. So being a master of multiple physics, I've also learned the common sense that I've extrapolated and have accumulated in my life. Allow that I can not have something in my hand and I come up with the right answer. 97.777% of the time. And honestly, I'm being conservative when I say that, and I'm being honest, very honest. I'm used to fixing things. These politicians can't say that. I love customer service, and I've worked in tens of thousands of homes like yours, even people, beautiful national security people. Who do you call to fix your heating system, your water heater, fan, something electrical, electrical switches, whatever it is? I know the electrical code, although I'm not a licensed master electrician, although I did seek out to go take that test because honestly, I have no disrespect, but when you know Ohm's law and I meet electricians and they don't know that, why? When you start to learn hydraulic calculations is one of my licenses, a master licensed plumber, master licensed fire suppression, backflow prevention, certified installer, repairer, maintenance, all of which requires blueprints and designs. This is one of my designs that I've designed myself. No one helped me. But when you deal with blueprints and design for 40 years, this is part of the whole entire thing. That not only did I have an architect who's a friend, we became friends because we worked together, but he saw I was a person of my word. Is why I tell you I'm a person of my word to you. And I want to say, I just want to add this too, because I also believe there's a whole bunch of national security people out there who are stuck in the middle. I believe there's a formation of a series of grand orders. I want to call them that. Maybe they're not called that. Maybe they want to call them laws. But like I said, I can hold things in my hand and you can't see it. And yet I have prevailed to accompany the remedy of what that problem was. So um, blueprints and design are what we have to reframe our Constitution. 13 years passed from 1776 to 1789. And for the younger generation, you don't know, 1776, July 4th, is why we have the Declaration of Independence, which is why I made it the Declaration of Independence Party. Why is that such a big deal? I want to be blunt for a second. Do we all take a turn dying? The answer is no. You thought I was going to say yes. And we cycle. This comes from 460,000 years ago before any scripture was written. Quran, 1500 years old in reverse. Catholicism, Christianity, 2000. Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, anywhere from 6,000 to 8 or 10,000. A rough estimate, give or take, that's pretty much where they fell. Then we go to about 16,000, which is Thracians. And one of my old Bulgarian friends told me about this, and he's an artist. He's done artwork for President Reagan. He goes to the UN. This guy he's so cool. He's like a little Luigi. But the stories, he's a refugee, and how he got away, God was with him. And so when I look at our people who are stuck in the middle, there's a series of orders that we're following, because what I see, honestly, is we all suffer. And yet the word death was not mentioned 460,000 years ago. I'm not going to say who they are. I'm not going to say where they came from, what land or whatever it was. You have to get my book. And it would only go to my campaign. And for those who can't afford it, it'll be free. And for the reason why I also put the phone number here is because we have a bunch of senior citizens by design. Like I said, I do design. And I think by my speech and my terms, I think this will be clear, because what design means is we consider everything. What do? Modernize technology and leave out senior citizens who don't want to use a computer? Not on my watch. Are you going to be a senior citizen one day? Yes. What do you want? Technology to leave you out? Or you want someone to be your president who's going to care for you and watch out and hold your hand and hold you when you fall to catch you, to deliver you. Why is that important? Because the Declaration of Independence said so. It says so. How does it do that? Why hasn't anyone who's a politician brought this out before? Why does it take someone who's a master of physics to write a book and put it all together? I don't know. But I know it formed our America. It is a series of grand orders from birth to death, aka cycle, whether it's a person, business, or government. I right now make a challenge to anyone who thinks you're so politically correct and oriented that you can battle someone in a debate. I challenge you, as my name is Charles Richard Zerilli, with my hand on my heart, to challenge anyone who wants to debate the Declaration of Independence to say that it doesn't guide us, and to tell me, to try to convince me it doesn't make a series of orders of respect and decency. And what I had said, the following line after I had said it, impels to separation. Next paragraph, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, with certain unalienable rights endowed by our Creator. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What does that really mean? I'm not here to kid you. I'm affected because someone called me a liar beforehand because of all of those politicians you had no choice to know better about. But I'm a person of my word, and I see how to correct us. And I can see orchestrating a new national security. I'd like to say that to everyone out there right now. It has to be altered. The Constitution must be addressed to match 7.9 billion people on the place of this earth and only growing. Where are we going as the largest nation on this whole entire globe? Are we looking to hurt things? Or are we looking to bring it forwards and embrace it? Are we looking to destroy and be confusing and lie and not what to do and meet on Christmas and New Year's and change the Constitution anyway? Do you know about that? No, you wouldn't. Most people don't know those things. There's so many different executive orders of all the people you like, but those executive orders tell you the exact premonition and execution of the intention of that president. It's different than what the news and the media say. Why? Because news isn't vetted today. I've reached out to thousands of people, and here's my problem, because when this woman had said to me she thought I'd be lying for her and to her, I was offended. We need to orchestrate what I believe the Declaration is, a series of grand orders which overrides any of the grand orders that exist in space and time in this quadrant of our universe, of our expanse. I believe that's correct to say. Prove me wrong. You've traveled the expanse. Prove it then. So you can't tell me I'm wrong. I love us, and I care for us. Every president has had millions of people die under them. Do you know that? Forgive me. We have to be honest if we want to move forwards. What do you think? Everything is creamy smooth? Every American that doesn't understand that and asks those questions about that, I take responsibility for that. Do you? I care for us. Do you? I hope and pray you do. So I'd like to add, I lied to her. She asked me, one of the people that asked me, how long have you been running and how many of the states are you on the ballot in? I didn't have an answer because I'm being damaged. This is why I know. Aside from me coming forwards and having design plan, it seems like I struck a nerve, boing, like a string on a guitar, or maybe a stand-up bass, let it vibrate a little bit. I've contacted thousands and thousands and thousands of people. I've went to call the FBI twice. I had my house broken into. when they took one of my modern resolution plans, my global modern resolution plan of America, only at that time it was the modern resolution plan, and I modified it. It became a global modern resolution plan of America. I don't have one on my pile right here, and I do have one, but I'm not gonna. Well, here we go. This is now my global modern resolution plan of America. I made it fit on one document, although it's like 8 or 9 font, and it's very detailed as far as respect for us. I have read it in my prior recordings on my archives, and you can go, I believe, on either the YouTube on the Charles Richard Cirilli, or you can come to my website and we record everything. I'm not hesitant to record what I'm saying. When you do design, you train people. We always train each other because when we have our IRs and our IRAS, it means our mental framing become us. Those who say that video games don't affect our children, you're lying. You're full of crap. I have a surprise. Put me on national television because I'd like to tell you how we're going to fix a lot of these things. And if you think for a second laws are going to stop what it is when they're erroneous, the president will override some of them. Put me there. So I lied to this woman. And you know what I lied to her about? I lied to her about that I just started running. I've not received an X for any donation yet, although it's a feeler. You're allowed to run as a president and put some feelers out there. So I've not received any donations. My hand to God for that. And if you find maybe the one person, literally one, who might have been $20, that was it. And I want to include that because I'm thinking it's anybody. And there was, I believe one guy, and it was the Englishtown flea market, Englishtown swap meet actually in Freehold, New Jersey. I've been handing out business cards and flyers looking for help, looking for people to come on board. I've contacted news media people, national people across America. No one's gotten back to me. How could that be? When I have to get this, please forgive me 1 second. How could it be that no one got back to me? And how could it be we don't have laws to protect us and our technical digital information? Are your emails safe? I honestly believe they're not. I have every right to say that because I've had mine tampered with to a good, very female friend, and I believe 2 people, and I don't mind saying their name because one served in the service, he's also a private detective now, and he also made oversight laws for 3 states. Mr. Gomez. And he was on the radio show on one that I listened to in New York City, and they archived their programs. And I believe either my text or email was tampered because when I spoke to him next, he was like turned off to me. And I'm saying to myself, I didn't say anything wrong. I'm a respectful person. I understand the kinesthetics of I might be too forward sometimes, so I back up of trying to not be too truthful because sometimes people can't handle 2 things at once or things that are very technical. So I've learned to back out of that and be respectful. How do I approach my national security friends who are stuck in the middle to convince them you're not being taken care of? Why are you not being taken care of? The Declaration says, and for the support of this declaration with a firm reliance on the protection, on a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. You know what that means? Everyone I've spoken to, only one person got it. Can I have the ability, without offending you, to say, do you consider yourself American? How come you don't know about the Declaration then? I really want to dig into you, but I won't. I hope the words I just said were offensive because I care for you. And every one of you who are not adhering to the Declaration and letting all these politicians lie, and you've not sought out or following only what the mass media does. And what I had done to me is this. This is somebody who was helping me on a volunteer basis. They sent her a text on my 9599 number from one of the phone companies that it doesn't text. This is why I've contacted the FBI for a second time. And why the police refused to take my report. No, look at the broken lock that was broken on a door. They just bypassed it. And then when they told their lieutenant, one of the people, the administrators, because I called up and says, how come these guys don't make a report? And they lied to me and told me some detectives are going to come back and follow up on the report. They lied to me. How many of you have been pulled over and police told you, oh yeah, you can do this and you can do this? And it's not that way. Why are we a bunch of liars in our authority? I'm tired of that. I'm disgusted of that. And so they took a text from a 00 number that I had in the past. I can't tell you how many times I go into my emails and accounts and numbers that are part of what I used, and they're all of a sudden deposited into those accounts. I didn't do that. And then I go to turn on my Zoom and other things, and all of a sudden I have to go through an approval process that uses a number that I never put in. How did they come up with this number? The same way that my digital equipment has been destroyed and you can think that yours is on the point, I disagree. No laws protect it. Once again, my name is Charles Richard Zarelli, running for President of the United States in the Declaration of Independence Party, installing some wise, strong heart into our society by reframing our Constitution. It has to be, because do you want to keep on being guided in the mental framing in our IRs and our RAS? Do you want to have this? Do you feel, sorry if I can't get that to look good. I'm going to imprint this higher and bolder. Anyone who knows psychology will understand that. My certification in hypnotherapy showed me these things. This man is amazing. So someone took a phone number that doesn't text, took another text from a 00 number from last year from a vacation I went on, and put it as a thread at the top here into this, which went to someone who was helping me in my campaign. She thought it was the same phone number because now she's just seeing the message and she's seeing the thread from the vacation I went on. And it says, I can't even lift my head when the COVID had started to really become big. And it made it seem like I was out of commission. That was a lie. I have not had COVID. I've not been out of commission. And I wasn't afraid when it came out. And honestly, in 90 days, if it was up to me and I was your commander in chief, I'd have this done in 90 days. I got people in my life to stop insulin. They became non-diabetic. I've earned the nicknames A to Z and the doctor. I love being technical. I love us. Guess what? Every cell in every one of your bodies has what's called epigenetics, EPHA genetics. We can see every one of those changes. The medical industry doesn't want to embrace that. But what do? Release things and then destroy our industries and hurt the national security of how we're the number one in the face of this globe? But I'm not saying we need to be the sickest either, which is what we're doing now. Where is the compromise? How do I use technologies to protect us, to have you interact with me when I become your president? Because I'm going to say, listen, the public, I want your feedback. What are you thinking? How do I know that it's going to be protected? Look at our voting. It's a disgrace. You want to use any one of these people? Can I say, would I offend them if I called them lying sacks of crap? I'm not going to say that. Maybe I just did. Oops. But I'm not labeling that. But when you make a promise and you lie, you're not talking my language. You're not following the Declaration of Independence. You're not following what our framers did. Now there's constructions going on, moving past this, that, by the way, I'd like to add, when she got this, about, no exaggeration, 23 to about 35 different communications, I could no longer get in contact with her any longer. Our communications were broken. She didn't get my voicemails. She didn't get my emails. What? As a technician, and I'm glad that I'm excellent, not good, I'm excellent at what I do. And I've done programming before, allocations. I've done some ASCII text, not much of that. I've done some HTML, not much of that, but I understand the premise and I understand if I had to do something, give me a couple minutes and I'll actually program it correctly and I'll flex it. How do I want it? Go this way, go this way. What do I want it? Boom. I'll play with it a little bit and I'll know. Boom. From that point on, I got it. Why? I am an American. And that's what we are. And that's why I see you're going to make this to say we need these laws to protect us. Listen to this guy. If he's not a liar and he's saying the truth about these things, and I demand to be fact checked. I demand it because I love you. I love us. I love our children. The next time I publicate, I'm going to give you a show and it's going to be, can you handle this? You better be ready for this one. You need to be prepared because I'm going to make a list of the things that I see that are factual, that are going wrong, that politicians aren't addressing. And one of them is laws protecting our digital equipment. And yet, look at 27 states have voter suppression. Are we a bunch of idiots? How come it's not an act of war when another country starts to meddle with our voting? It hurts the word democracy, and yet all of you buy that? Are you suckers? I'm not. That's why I'm giving up my life. I love fishing. I haven't fished when I found that there's a problem with the fish in 6 or 7 years. I haven't had a girlfriend to put my arms around or a significant other. I've given that up too. Why for us? I've given up my businesses. I've given up a lot. You know why? Because I realized what it is. I realized in every aspect in what we do, our design. What does that mean? How we work together, how we implement safety and security, how we watch out for our hospitals, how we have many different things happen, how we integrate, how we have jobs coming up, how we're going to lose them, how when people die, the senior citizen are being treated, how we have a lack of resources, why we have so many homeless, why we have homeless issues, why states across America are having housing issues. I don't want to mention New York City that there was $14 billion, if I'm saying the number correctly, and only half was used. And now some money was missing. You know what? I see where people are trying to do some good things on one hand, but they're compromised on the other. Why? I'm going to tell you why. Very simple. Because our Declaration of Independence was not put into the Constitution. 13 years passed, and the essence of that was lost. So I lied to this woman. I lied and I said my campaign just started. I believe I'm the first person in our beautiful, beautiful planet, and it was a video still on YouTube, Charles Azzarelli for president in 2016, when I had realized the people running don't know science, and they weren't really honest. When I hear now that this guy at the top lied so many times, but all the news stations now, because one of the operations, I don't even want to mention the name at this point, but parts of our government started to oversee the media. When I got someone to become a non-diabetic, my neighbor Jen, by one of the rentals, do you hear that on the TV or the radio, the news? No. Why? Why? Because there's only so many stories to tell, and we don't want to tell things that are going to hurt our national security. That's why. Why is it the FDA will not allow you to use the word cured unless you have a drug? But how many guys that I've learned from, and the guys who showed me how to do this, although they didn't tell me, I'm listening to them. And I got it to be done. My neighbor comes to me. She goes, hey, I got to home and do insulin. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And to be honest with you, she's got a very nice looking woman, although she's married to one of my friends and I can't, go there. But she's beautiful. What did I say? She's not. She's not a heavy woman either. Yet she became a diabetic. I'm disgusted. That's who we are. And I said to her, why are you doing that? Eventually, she comes and knocks on my door. I said, who is it? Who else do you know that was running that also has no problem living in part of where the hood is? In a black mixed neighborhood. I love to say that. I love my neighbors. We're all beautiful and we get along very well. I have tenants for 17, 20 years. I'm a stand up person. I do something wrong, you're going to get an apology from me respectfully. How can I make up for it? And you know what? National security can encumber this mentality. And we have to appreciate the people who are the 1% people. Although, what are they doing wrong? Be honest with you, how I see it on one side of the coin as part of the design, almost nothing. You know why? Because our Constitution didn't follow the Declaration. They're only allowing the laws which all the lobbyists and all these people and have homeless on the lines that they could make laws and they have so much money to do this. And they've only done what they're doing because it's what they do well is make money. And what? They've aided America to be number one. And what do? Not appreciate that America's number one? I don't think so. How does that work into an integrated plan? This is why I feel the integration of what we represent, also looking out for our national security. Why? Because the Declaration also includes, no matter how heartless they may need to be, I don't want to label certain groups, but guess what? Are they being watched out into divine providence? Let me just say it gentle. No friggin' way. I've had national security people and law enforcement in my family my whole life. My brother was one of the first, thank God, survivors at 9/11. More people died after 9/11 than have died in that building. And this is what you let happen by allowing these people who are going to lie come in. Here's where I'm at. I need your support, and I need you not to stop. I need you to bring me in. I need you to not stop and contact timetojoin.us with every one of your votes, every one of your supports to say, you know what? And I've done political things. I was one of the partners that we made a decision. This was directly my calling to have one of the schools be involved, that we did a news press conference, and the community council that I was part of, and I don't give all the rest of that, but let it be on national television that be said. We had a school shut down. Not that we had them close the doors. Let me repeat, we had them shut down. They never closed the doors. But on paper, they shut them down because the principal was allowing teachers, properties and purses and desks and chairs to be thrown all over the place. Just like what America is right now. We're desecrating things, and these politicians are coming in with 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 items when there's hundreds that you can't handle. Let me add it. Let some people come forward by what I say to try to trash me. I got news for you. I step into that White House, they're going to wish they never said one bad word. And you want to see it? You want drama? If the public agrees, I will let you have and see part of that, and I'm not going to hide it. We kill millions of people around the world. We have bombs going off. Under certain administrations in the past, it's obvious that we have people not understanding, and I believe that they think and feel that part of the grand orders are relative to having a balance, that we've looked at money so hard and so fast. We've compromised and we've looked at suffering in the wrong way. And if I'm right, and these people got it wrong, and they're following some wrong orders that you really can't hold in your hand, but if they're misunderstood, they're going to suffer on the way out. Why? Declaration of Independence, I believe, is a series of grand orders, and it says, quote, while mankind is more disposed to suffer, evils are sufferable, and to right and abolish the ways in which they're accustomed. I might have gotten a word or two mixed with that, but it's pretty much darn the essence of that, and I'll stick by it. It says that you and I, pretty much, we're going to suffer. It's part of what life is about. When do we put a tangible agreement on what suffering is and gauge that in all these political moves? All the protesters know they're tired. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to make a prediction. They're not going away. And what are we going to do? Put national arms against them to stop them? What are we, Hitler for now? Get the hell out of here with that nonsense. These people are sensitive and they see our systems going wrong. They see people who are acting white, and those people got it wrong, my friends. I say this to all you out there who think that you can be a white nationalist. You got it wrong, buddies. You know why? Where does that come from? Not about it being white. because from ancient scroll technologies, it was meant to be in such a way when you understand what it is to be of a higher shalom, like the higher the few, that thinking that you could be of the white light, because like Nikola Tesla said, in the end, even dark matter turns to light. In the scriptures, going to church, what I learned, when we pass, when we cycle, you're supposed to go to the light. If you believe in God, you love God. What is God? Where's there a definition to that? Well, guess what? 460,000 years ago puts a real good clue on that no Bible has ever mentioned. And the Bible has changed the Ten Commandments and the Dead Sea Scrolls, and every Bible modeled these people's documents that are 500,000 stone tablets, 500,000 stone tablets dating 460,000 years old. So you want to tell me people wrote the Bibles? Where did they get the information from? Why does it model the Ten Commandments, which is already from their scrolls, the top, those stone tablets? Why does it model what it said about the Noah's Ark? This is mentioned in those stone tablets. Now, how is it interesting that all the Bibles, now as a technician, what have I learned to do? What's in common? Let's see what we can agree with. Let's see what we don't agree with. And let's find what's the overlaps are. You want to be led right? My name is Charles Richard Zerilli. I need your help. And you know what? I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. And here's what I believe. What is this? What is this thing right here? Is it being torn down? Since I've been airing this in my past publications, I mentioned this. Is it relative now that it's going to be removed? I don't know. When I see my texts and things that I stand for and the intelligence I represent and how it's being destroyed, of how long I've been trying to catch and email and call people, and I've got none but a gazillion voicemails, and just saying, hey, I'd like to talk to you about a change, and please give me a call when you get a chance, trying to make it neutral, and no reason why people wouldn't call you back. And some of these people already are activists and stuff, and they would have loved to hear something like that. But if I tell you less than 1% of all the people out of thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people have not gotten back to me, it's a God's honest truth. I contacted 1,800 billionaires. And it figures in a way like trying to turn me off. I got news for you. I don't run away from something. I run at it. And one person responds to me and he says, stop calling us. What? What are you talking about? You don't want me to call you. I won't ever call you again. But the white people, I want to say, in the way the white was thought, it was supposed to be like Nikola Tesla said, the emulation of a frequency. What does that mean? Some people might want to follow a grand order to model what it is to be white. But what happens if you're only thinking of it from a human being and you think it's the color white, but it's not? And how would you represent the emulation of what the frequency is being told? It's a bright light. And then from a human being, you think it's a white light. If I'm correct to say that, and everything suffers, if you got it wrong and you made a bunch of people suffer erroneously, you got problems, my brothers. And I feel good about that because it made me feel, wow, everyone suffers things. But to think that people who have so much money and power think they're going to get away with it, I don't think so. I think they're the most challenged in the face of this globe. Anyway, I'm pretty much going to end it at this point. I need all of your helps. Please contact me at timetojoin.us, TIMETOJOIN.us. We are not a .com. We are .us. I had a woman say to me, you mean .us? No, .us. Us. All of us together. And if you take the word together and you go capital T-O, small G-E-T, capital H-E-R, to get her, the earth, us, our lives. And for the phone number over here, for those who don't want to use digital stuff and who senior citizens, part of design, we have to include them and never ever forget the senior citizens because one day you'll be them. We hope and pray. Our earth right now has ice melting. In my book, I asked, why is it 41.5 degrees to a technical aspect? When we do, we can reverse our climate problem. And for those who don't want to face it, guess what? No problem. You don't have to. I'll give you permission. You know why? Just get me in. Because if we take the Declaration of Independence and we model it into the Constitution, any thought of climate change would be, ready for this, be legal. That's right. The Declaration stands for five prescriptive ingredients: life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and safety and happiness. So I want to apologize to that lady that I lied to her. I feel disheartened because I had to lie to her because I didn't know what to say. I wasn't ready for someone to ask me that question, but I didn't answer her either. But the guy just cut her off. And I was like, well, I don't want to begrudge her question. But he just felt, when I hesitated for a second, he just kind of felt, I guess, he just cut in because she was, going on for a little bit. And you're on a radio show, ask a single question and let's move on because other people had questions. So I understand, but I've been going since 2016. My electronics have been so damaged to stop my presidential campaign. And if you're going to allow that, then you're going to let our earth be hurt. You're going to let our foreigners be affected coming in and our immigration be destroyed. You're not going to look out for our peoples, and you're going to allow more homeless. And you're going to listen to these people who are lying. That's not who I am. My name is Charles Richard Zerilli, Declaration of Independence Party. Forgive me if I had to unleash you today, but I'm very disheartened because I had to lie to someone. That's who I am in my heart, my mind, and my spirit. And when you have someone's heart and your soul, your heart and your mind come together, it becomes a fortress. I love us. My name is Charles Richard Zerilli, running for the president of our beautiful United States from the Declaration of Independence Party, adding some wise, strong heart, changing our Constitution to match our Declaration. We need to become joined again. I'd like to attract all the people out there who are turned off. I am one of them. That's why I gave up my life in so many different things. And I'll accept this and whatever I've given up as a suffering, but it's for you. It's not just for me. I've had some really hot girlfriends and I've done a lot of different things. I've invented several different things. I took a motorcycle, which it was a three-wheel, it was an ATV. I converted it to be street legal on the street. I had a registration and the license plate's hanging right over there. I did it all myself. I recustomized the frame. I rebuilt it from galvanized Schedule 40 pipe and helioc. It wasn't helioc, actually I arc welded. It didn't require heliocing. And I have a helioc machine as well. It's easier to ask me what skills I really haven't done compared to what I have, including microprocessors. And I've built several different things, radio jammers, you name it. We need someone who has science and business relative to ecology, the respect of human, adding a wise, strong heart into what our government represents for all of us, so you can be attracted back and feel good about our government and protect our democracy. We can't reinvent the word democracy and allow 27 states have voter suppression. Smack, 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 smack. That's ridiculous. And yet, you want to have to entertain the conversation. I feel these people behind the scenes think all of you ain't that smart. You're allowing our democracy to be destroyed, and by your vote, not looking for independent people. Is it your fault? It ain't mine. I'm giving up my life to do something. What about you? Then you're going to do something? Vote Charles Richard Zerilli in. We need to look at people from birth to death, whether it's a person, business, or government. Our Declaration of Independence mentions it all. The Declaration of Independence Party, Charles Richard Zerilli, joining all parties. And in a pandemic especially, it gives no one a reason not to join. And honestly, HR 763 is not good enough for me. It starts to address the climate. Will it match the speed of our ice melting? I don't want to go over the forensics and the physics right now, but in my book I do. We're not looking good. I won't let that happen. We need to have laws that stop any ability for climate infractions against our earth. So it'll remedy to those who don't want to acknowledge it. And for everyone who's a protester, you'll feel great. And for those who are doing HR 763, we need to bring you all in. And we need to collaborate beyond that. Imagine all those who were believing in HR 763 and you had a problem passing these bills and you're getting headway. But to me, it's not good enough. I demand my niece to have a safer time than for tomorrow. So when she's old, there's no question about it. I don't see that as guaranteed. Changing the Constitution will allow 50, 100 years across the board to be evident and safe for all. Do you want to be safe? Do you want to feel safe? Do you want to feel welcome in our society? Do you want to love and feel great about our government? I won't do it any other way. My name is Charles Richard Zerilli, at your service. The Declaration of Independence Party. Everything I said is real. I demand to be fact checked. Let's get someone in who's a person of their word, who's a very science. The things I've orchestrated and invented, although I went to go file for patents when I was 16 and someone turned me off, but I never stopped inventing. I love us and I care for us. My name is Charles Richard Zerilli, the Declaration of Independence Party. We are number one, and we need to add some wise, strong heart into our government. We need to protect some of the national security people who are stuck in the middle, stopping all these other things because they're told to do this by their bosses. When do we have the laws to implement what they need to do is when the Constitution would be changed. We need to match 7.9 billion people and only growing on the face of this globe. And I'm adding an extra 100 million. Why? Because I do design. What do you think? You only have this much and it stops right there? We're growing. The earth doesn't grow, only people do. So I would just like to add a couple of different statements that I feel are relative, that I feel is just so on target of what we represent. And these things I think are just so beautiful. You want a savior? Look in the mirror. Vote Charles Richard Zerilli in. Because someone who's not looking to lie and looking to have you be part of what is informational that government's going to be guided by protecting you by changing our Constitution, not being afraid because how many times it's been changed. Look at where we are. Put me on national. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to share things that way. You're going to have a debate you've never thought would be possible. And you'll know at that point, I am the guy. I don't have a big head. Who else has 14 licenses? Business, different businesses, 3 jobs when I was 13. I've done political things. We got the school shut down. They're reopened. I've done political things. The things I've stood up against, I'm not going to go any further. One of my mottos, we are beautiful. From my heart, we are beautiful. Epigenetics means our cells have up to 10,000 cell alterations a day. Plant the seed. It's going to grow whether you're there or not. Our seed is already planted. I want you to be part of it. And we are stronger united. And I want to see that word in capitals again. We are stronger united. No one army person can win a war or anything by themselves. It's us as a team. And this is where we're at. And why is it my screen is changing behind me with nothing that's altering that? I really don't care. You know why? Because it's about you and I, not stupid digital problems, emails that don't go through, and laws that don't protect the presidential candidate, for having digital destructions, having stuff ripped off from one phone, put into a phone that doesn't text and being put to someone who's volunteering, helping me as a presidential aide on a campaign. So design is so key. That is my advantage over any other person who's running. I don't think anyone else running has 14 licenses. I've let some of them expire, like my ham license, big deal, but it was still licensed, and I've only advanced my technology since then. So I respect and I care for us. So who wants 50 to 100 years safe ahead for it to be evident? We need to reframe our Constitution to match the Declaration of Independence. It's the most important thing. So where are your values? So my next publication will be in another week and a half from now. From the first week and the third week, I do the Wednesday, first Wednesday of the month, and then the first Sunday, and then the third week, the first Wednesday, and the second, first following that. So the first and third week, Wednesday and Sunday. Please look out for me. And I love us. We are beautiful. I need your support. And it's not so much really the money. Put me on the national ballot. You won't be sorry. And I'll give you a show you'll never forget. And I'd like to leave this with this. Charles Richard Zerilli, the Declaration of Independence Party, joining all parties. And don't forget that. I need your support. For me to help you, you have to help me first and put me there. We need a guide for respect. This is where we're at. And I'd like to leave you with this. Hey, America, Don't feel so sad. We can be strong together and fix many things. Be strong. We are beautiful, don't you forget. Let's go from beautiful and let. And anytime you feel down, don't you go there. Don't you take that frown and let you be down. I love us. Declaration of Independence Party. My name is Charles Richard Zarelli. Time to join.us. The phone number 718-865-8720. Once again, 718-865-8720. I believe having someone whose direct knowledge of science, business, leading to our ecology for human is already written in the very, very beautiful Declaration of Independence. And this very thing in the top of this is what is every human being, and it's in your head. It's part of our intelligence center. Our contaminations are hurting it. I'm looking to make us evolve. My name is Charles Richard Zarelli. These are the truths. Please fact check me. Declaration of Independence Party, adding some wise, strong heart to our government, looking out for all we need. We commandeer the earth. We're 52 to 58% of the world's responsibility. It's time that you have to accept that. Your vote secures that or not. You want to do this political thing? Stop that nonsense. The Declaration says time to solve the political dangers, to connect them with another, and to assume among the powers of our earth. And we don't need gasoline. And the pandemic in 90 days would be done. I'm someone who knows science, and I have an excellent repair rate. You can't tell me that you can't believe me. You can't tell me that I can't do it. It's just you might not be used to it. And all the news stations are collaborated, looking at the Arbitron ratings, and we're all disheveled and we're not getting the same stories. Imagine if we had the right collaboration and we understood what IRs and RAS would be guided the right way. My name is Charles Richard Zarelli. I'm bowing out. And I apologize to that lady. I lied to her because it's not who I want to represent. We need a government that stands by what they say. Why? Because governments, quote unquote, governments are instituted among men deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. The Declaration is a guide. It says everything relative to what our lives need to be. Anyone who says something that, you're full of it. My name is Charles Richard Zarelli at your service. Please check me out. Time to join.us. And for those who don't want to use a computer, 718-865-8720. Once again, 718-865-8720. And to leave these beautiful ladies, and I love to call them ladies, it's just I can't help it. And for all of you who you're alone, don't have a relationship, you're breaking up, 85% divorce rate. Our rate's going down. You know why? Because a lot of beautiful women don't want to be involved with a relationship anymore. This is our intelligence. We're devolving. We need to evolve. We need to be honest and open. And we need to be secure with how we make mistakes and learn from those mistakes to become American. Because together, American we can. And everyone out there, I want to give a group hug for those of you and for our flag. I hug all of you, and especially how many were having more suicides than ever before. What does that tell you? It's only getting worse. No more lies. Declaration of Independence. And I love you all. And I want to give you a hug and a hug right here. And to all of those who need that. That felt good for me. Thank you very much. Charles Richard Zarelli at your service, the Declaration of Independence Party, adding a wise, strong heart. I need your help. Please contact me and let me know that you'll vote for me, whether I'm on the ballot or not. Put me on the national ballot because I will not let you down. That I can feel confident. I promise I will not let you down. That means I have to be open to what you want to say and what you feel in a way we've never seen happen before. And I just did make that promise. I love us. And from my heart and everything I am, I meant every bit of it. And if I can't do anything for some reason, I will come forwards and I will explain how it unfolded and why I couldn't. And I will give you some of those choices to say, look, this is what we have going on. This is my stumbling block. What are the percentage of all the odds of what you would want? And we have to have honest news. We need laws that protect our digital information. To have anyone who is any presidential candidate have digital damage that's hurting my campaign for the longest time. I just didn't want to admit that, and I just did. My name is Charles Richards, really at your service. Thank you very much. Be strong, be positive, and be confident, and see it done already, because the Declaration of Independence Party means it. And you're going to mess with us, you're going to find out what this fist means, because we kill people all over the world. You think it's just about laws? We need to change the Declaration to match the Constitution. And for those who don't want to do that, let's see what happens. Put me on national TV, put me on a national ballot. I won't let you down. Thank you. Be safe. Charles Richards, really at your service.